Hello and welcome to another episode of Untold Chapters. On today's episode, our guest is author Kels Hereford, who has published her book earlier this year, Breathless Without You. When she's not devouring her next romance book, Kels loves to write and travel around to as many places as possible and has met some truly amazing people along the way. Dreaming of being an author ever since she was 7 years old when she made up her first small story, Kels hopes that this is only the beginning of her writing career, with more stories on the horizon begging to be written for the world. So thank you so much for coming on to an Untold Chapters with us. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. My name is Kels Hereford. I'm 37 and I live in New Zealand. I've been writing stories since I was young and I've been writing on and off since then. When I'm not working, I love reading and writing romance, and I was given a wonderful opportunity to get published with Austin Macauley last year with Breathless Without You.
So what inspired Breathless Without You?
I knew I wanted the story to be sweet and I wanted it to just be a simple love story. I wanted the reader to feel the emotion behind the characters and what they were experiencing. I always find that when writing a book, the characters tend to lead me to where they want to go, as opposed to me having a clear idea of where they need to go. All I really had in terms of an idea for this book was that I wanted both a brother and a sister to be in love with the same guy. And so the rest sort of wrote itself.
So as you were writing the book, did you experience any challenges along the way?
Yes and no. I found it quite easy to write despite having no way of how it was going to end. However, I didn't want it to be too simple of a story so that it seemed hollow and not entertaining for the reader. I had to work things into the story to make it a little bit more exciting. I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to read filler, so to speak, like having something there that doesn't need to be there. So I tried to make it all as relevant to the story as much as I could, which I found challenging at times.
I bet, because that's always the fun part when you write a story. It's like, is this going the way that I want it to go? Do I need to add anything more? Like, what do I do with this? Is this how I really want to describe it?
Yeah.
So, how do Adam and Kit's feelings for each other evolve throughout the story?
So Adam has always had feelings for Kit since he sort of discovered who and what he liked. He learned this pretty early on in his life when he was a teenager, so it was more puppy love, I guess you could say. But Kit, on the other hand, has never really thought too much on his sexuality. He mostly dated girls because that's what society had taught him, even though he knew Adam was pansexual and knew what that meant. Kit never considered that there were other options out there for him. So the more interactions they have, the more Kit picks up on his feelings for Adam. And Adam realizes that his initial feelings of him crushing on Kit for years seems to have developed into deeper emotions.
What are the main obstacles that Adam and Kit face in their journey towards a committed relationship?
The first one is the fact that Adam's sister is also in love with Kit, but she isn't aware that Adam is seeing Kit. So there's a little bit of conflict there. There's also the matter of Kit feeling comfortable being in a relationship with a man. And the third is also that Adam has someone interested in him as well.
Always makes for an interesting story, especially when it's like, well, this is happening behind your back. And he's like, well,
Yeah.
how long is it going to take before you sort of, you realize? And then as the reader, it's sort of like, oh God, here we go. How does Kit's realization of his sexual orientation affect his actions and decisions?
So he wants to pursue his sexuality with Adam. However, he still feels like he needs to cater to his parents and their social circle of friends. He's not fully comfortable with showing his feelings in public, which means he doesn't feel like he can be fully himself. Kit never had the same upbringing as Adam, so he keeps a part of himself hidden from his family. But Adam's family is the opposite. They're very open and loving. And little by little, he comes to realize that there's nothing wrong with him, because there isn't. But luckily, Adam has gone through his own experience and knows what it's like. So he's incredibly understanding and only wants to be there for Kit and offer his unconditional love and support. As time goes by and he grows more comfortable within himself, that's when Kit starts to become braver, even if it is something as little as just holding Adam's hand in public.
Absolutely, because that's the thing, like you've been a certain way for literally the majority of your life. Stepping outside your comfort zone is always probably
Totally.
like really difficult and
Yeah.
really daunting. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
will people accept me? Am I making a terrible decision? And like, is it, unfortunately, a question will probably be asked, like, is it worth it? And so how might Adam and Kit's experiences resonate with readers who may be exploring their own identities and relationships?
I mean, everyone's different with their own personal journeys. I hope that people can take away from my characters that it's okay to love yourself and be happy within yourself. I like that in this story, both characters are on the same path, but are almost on opposite ends of discovery. Since Adam was a teenager, he is someone who very much knows his worth and who he is. But for Kit, is someone in his late 20s who is only just figuring all that stuff out. I like to think that it's never too late to find yourself or that special someone. And I hope that's what my characters convey to readers.
For anyone, writing their own story or wanting to write their own story, is sort of in the process of gaining confidence or ideas or as such, do you have any advice for them at all?
It's going to sound really cliche, but don't give up. If you like writing, just keep writing. I love to write, and there was a period of time where I didn't write for like 3 to 4 years because I just didn't enjoy it anymore. But then I went back to it and I rediscovered my love of writing. I didn't think I was ever going to get published, and at 36 it just kind of happened. So don't get discouraged from rejections, just think of them as a stepping stone.
Really good way of thinking about it as well. Because that's the thing, like you do what you love and you love what you do, and even if writer's block is
Oh, it's a real thing.
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, thank you so much for, like I said, making the time to come on to one of our Untold chapter episodes and give a story behind your story, as it were, about, a step closer into the world of your book and the world of you as an author as well.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, more than welcome. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Untold Chapters. If you would like to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. To purchase your copy of Breathless Without You, you can find the links in the description below.